Morning, everyone. Here we are in Chester, New York. Got a previously abandoned tank in place. I'm not sure where it lies. We're being told that that circle right there is the fill. So we don't know whether it goes under this rock wall or it runs this way, which will be partially under the tree stump. So unfortunately, we've got to dig all this up now because someone abandoned it in place previously. If you've got access to pull these tanks out, pull them out. Don't abandon them in place, because when you eventually go to sell, the buyer's attorney is going to mandate you do this removal. So we'll begin. We had to remove all that. Quite a root base right there. All right, so this is what you see. They don't cut the tank open to enter it and clean it before they put a little bit of sand or kitty litter in. So now all that's got to be drummed and disposed. Just pull the tank out, folks. That's all you got to do. Just pull it out. So we're going to dig down there now and take a sample. We'll do a PID reading and start removing this product and then drum it. So we took a scoop from the bottom. Sure enough, there's contamination. If you come over, you can see right there, there's holes. Michael's finishing up blowing any of the dirt off the driveway. We're going to leave the tank here for the homeowner's insurance. Just put everything back. She's going to move forward with the remediation, and we'll come back, remove all that, take care of all this, and we'll show you that process and how many tons we take out. So on our last video that I showed, we were very impressed on Michael's skills on how quick he cut, installed the fitting, flared it, put it on, and then capped it. After me doing a timing I said, hey, Craig, you know what Mike did? He did it in 1 minute and 22 seconds. What did you say, Craig?
I can do it under a minute.
Under a minute. So the challenge has been thrown down. Mike feels confident with his number. I feel pretty confident with his number. So, on our next install, which is what time? When is it?
Thursday-ish.
We have a 3-day remediation we'll do now. We'll show you that. We'll put this in on that. But on Thursday, the gauntlet has been... Sam, did you hear? Mike did a flare cap install in 1 minute and 22. Craig says he can do it in under a minute. What's your feeling?
Possible.
Possible. Okay. So it's a 2 saying he can't. 1 says it's possible. Craig says definite. We'll get back to you. You will see the live video. There will be no retakes. All right, we are headed to Warwick, New York. We are going there to finish up a tank removal failure project. About 8 weeks ago, it took 8 weeks for the insurance carrier to run their investigation, and in the end they determined that they're not liable for this spill. So I put together an estimate, and the homeowner will be taking care of it for themselves. Very nice woman. So we're headed out there. Probably going to be not that bad. Access isn't great. A 2-day remediation, probably 8 to 10 tons. Looks like it's far apart, far away too. Okay, so Mike is backing up the first mason we're going to load the contaminated soil into. So this is that property. Tank is still covered. We've got to get rid of that root. I'll break that into smaller pieces and throw that back into the void right at the base. That won't be an issue. This wall was settling a little bit before we came out to do the removal. I tried not to undermine it too much, but that large root, part of that went under it. So I'm not just going to leave that. We got to repair that somehow or other. I got a couple ways to do it. Either jack it up. I'll try initially to jack it up and then get some good concrete dust underneath it, and hopefully it'll stay. But if not, we'll take it apart and then rebuild it. But for now, we're just going to try to see how much we got in here. I think the contamination begins at about 4 feet below grade, so I'll remove that top part, which is called the overburden. That's the good stuff. We'll stockpile that, and we'll start field screening. We'll get our start point and complete this remediation. Try to do this as inexpensive as we can for the homeowner, because she did get denied under her insurance carrier. So we'll do the best we can. Mike's getting set up. So we've removed one mason dump truck already. Soil's a little wet, it's probably about 5 tons. We took our initial start point from the void. It was 286 on the PID. We got rid of about 5 tons, took our sample again. It's already down to 168. So I feel, and we took that PID reading from that right there. I'm gonna see how it is after this next 5 tons goes. Hopefully this thing will clean up because the homeowner's got to pay for this. I just got to get the samples below DEC standard, which is actually 999 parts per million. Our methodology of sampling as per the state of New York, it's got to be done 8260, 8270 STARS memo or a CP 51. It's just a more stringent test, a little more expensive too. So we'll see what it's like after this 5 tons. The wall seems to be giving away a little bit more, so it's kind of looking like it's going to be a rebuild, more so than anything. We've got that plate to protect the edge of the asphalt. Mikey will back this thing in, and then we'll load it out and take another reading. Okay, Sam's gonna grab some of that. We're gonna run a PID on it, see how bad it is. There's our PID meter. Remember, anything 25-ish to 30 will be acceptable with the DEC. So we are close. 100 was the highest. All right, so we have an idea what it is right there. So we'll continue digging. All right, so we just took out the other mason, and that's what we got. So in order to close the spill when there's a remediation, the state gets the paperwork. Because they're not here and I represent the DEC, there's a formula, or there's a set of guidelines on how they want this done. Once we get the area remediated down to where we think it's acceptable, they want the sidewall, that sidewall sampled, that sidewall sampled, that sidewall sampled, and that sidewall sampled. We're allowed to take those 4 samples, put it in one bag, and that's called a composite. So we'll take a composite of the 4 sidewalls, and then they want to sample directly from the bottom, and that's called a grab sample. So we take 4 composites and a grab. So right now, as I look, I can see my 4 sidewalls are good. We can get that to pass. We're just trying to get this bottom to pass now. So Craig will jump down in there. He'll grab that, a sample, and then I'll run it on the PID, and you can see that. A lot of companies, contractors, take the bucket and they dig the bucket, and then they pull the sample up. That bucket's been digging contaminated soil, so it's already got contaminants on it. So you're not going to get a true indication of what the status of that grab sample would be. So I'll lower Craig down in there, and that's how we'll take our sample.
Hey, this, you want it in the blue shit or no?
We're doing a bottom, so just get me a bottom. So Craig right now is going to do the 4 sidewall composite. So he'll grab a little from each 4 sidewalls. So even if we're not done remediating this, our 4 sidewalls are done, and that's our sidewall composite. I'll do a PID reading on that for you. And now Craig is going to get a bottom. I'm not looking to beat people up with this stuff. I'm just trying to get the bulk of the contamination, get these samples to be passed, and then got a little bit of water purging back in there. So we'll use those ground protect the pads, the oil absorbent pads. We'll just pad that just to see if there's any oil sheen on it, just to make sure we're comfortable. So we'll do some readings on this and get back to you. Even if that area right there is elevated and I'm going to take a piece of that just to get a reading on it, I would actually let that go, because I've got a footing drain right there and I'd like to stay 2 feet away from the foundation of the home. I do not want to affect the integrity of the structure, because then the home will do something like that. All right, we wait for the PID meter to zero out, and now we're going to field screen these. So this is the 4 sidewall composite, which I expect to be good.
1.4.
Got a 1.4, that's fine, that will pass. And then here's that bottom. Looks like 96 was the highest, 97. So that's just got a little bit more to go. 100.
Get there.
All right. So we're just gonna do a little more digging down in the bottom here. But I'm actually gonna do it by hand, just to get the bulk of that out. So I'll get it down to 50 or 40, and then we're good. And we'll button this thing up. Good morning all, here we are, day 2, the final day of this Chester remediation. We did load out 10.82 tons. Yesterday, both those masons had a little over 5 tons in them. We also removed probably a third of a mason dump in that bottom void that I showed you, just to clean that up, and we were getting readings on the PID meter of 40s, high 40s. So we'll get that to pass. We've already taken that sample. So today, we're going to backfill. We're going to attempt to fix that wall. Got to compact this in lifts. I normally do 12-inch lifts. A little bit of cleanup over there. We're going to take the tank, try to break up some of that concrete. If I can't get it broken up into small pieces, I'll remove it off site. We're going to remove that stump off site. Then we're going to repair some holes that we made with the excavator there. Topsoil it, seed it, hay it, clean everything up, and then get out of here. And the work will begin. All right, Craig is chaining down the machine. We got Mike and Sam seeding, haying, finishing, raking the topsoil. I'm happy. It came out pretty good. The big thing here is, I brag about the company a little bit. It's not always about the money. Always seems to be whatever you make, it's never enough. But when you have an opportunity to help an appreciative person that needs the help, that's sometimes more rewarding for me. So that's what this situation is. So there's the final product. Got that wall fixed. Everything's compacted. That gutter leader discharge, we've got it beyond the hole now. Put that back. Roots were removed. Tank was removed. Everything looks good. As always, another fine job by Tank Masters Environmental.